هناك مسائل عديدة جدا.
الذي يجوز إعطاء الزكاة لصنف الله،
لأن رسالة محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام خاتمة.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. يسرني في هذه الحلقة الثامنة من مقرر اللغة الإنجليزية لطلاب وطالبات قسم الدعوة في كلية الدعوة والإعلام، وكذلك طلاب وطالبات المستوى الرابع من قسم الشريعة في كلية الشريعة. As you know, this is the 8th session or the 8th episode, and if you remember the previous session, we talked about Lundberg as whether he's a fool or crazy or a person who has motivation to do something not done before. We don't know. Now, in fact, we need to focus on this report and this reading where we need to work together. So after we guessed whether he can do it, he cannot do it, or what happened to that person. Now let's read together the report from Paris Express News. They wrote this report. Let's read together. The reading is on page 91. So we need to focus on the reading because we are looking for the information about this person, about, if you remember, the spirit of St. Louis. Now it seems to me that we know the spirit of St. Louis is the plane that he used to cross the Atlantic. Okay, so the news, this was published in May the 27th, 1927. Paris, France, because this report was issued in France. 1 week ago, okay, let's read together. 1 week ago, Charles Augustus Lundberg was just handsome. So just a week before this, he was just a normal, handsome person, يعني شكله جميل وأنيق. 25-year-old airmail pilot from a small town in the United States. So he's just a person, a pilot of the airmail plane in the United States. So before this incident, يعني قبل هذه الحادثة, he was just a normal person. Today, he is the most famous man in the world. الآن هو the most famous, يعني أشهر إنسان في العالم, and the most important man in the history of flying. So he is the most important in the history of flying because he is the first person to cross the Atlantic from New York City to Paris in non-stop flight. Last week, Lundberg flew solo. Solo. What does that mean, solo? Solo, it means alone, nobody with him. Is it an easy or a difficult trip? It seems to me that, and I want you to think about this, not just read. So he flew solo from New York to France. He was the first person to fly non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean alone. So he's the first person to fly from these two places alone. He also set the record for the longest non-stop flight. So he did a lot of good things. One of them that he is the first person to fly across the Atlantic, and he is the fastest. He also set the record for the longest. This is the longest in history, the longest non-stop flight. Lundberg, we are on the third paragraph. As you see, we have small number 3. Lundberg took off on his historic flight on May the 20th at 7:52 a.m. At what time? What does that AM mean? It means almost around 8 in the morning. People called him the flying fool. People called him the flying fool. Yes, because he is doing something, or he was doing something heroic. Heroic يعني عمل بطولي, and dangerous at the same time. Okay, and that's why people called him flying fool. On that day, other pilots in the contest waited in New York because the weather was bad. Okay, so his flight was while the weather was bad. Okay, so this is another problem. Lindbergh did not wait. He didn't wait, even though the weather was bad. يعني حتى لو كان الجو غير يعني ملائم للطيران. He took 5 sandwiches, a bottle of water, a notebook, a pen, and a compass. These are very small and not that expensive, inexpensive things. يعني أشياء قليلة بسيطة غير يعني باهظة الثمن. What are the things? He took 5 sandwiches, a bottle of water, يعني قارورة من الماء, a notebook, مشان إيش? To write his notebook, يعني دفتر مذكرات, a pen, and a compass. Compass اللي هو البوصلة. He didn't even have a radio. He didn't have a radio, يعني all he heard was the sound of the wind and the noise from the engine of the plane. That's all what he heard. The sound of the winds hitting the plane and the sound of the engine of the plane. Is it boring? Is it dangerous? Is it frightening? We don't know. Okay, so just we want to know the information. He was in the air all alone with his thoughts, his hopes, and his fears. He was alone in the sky with his thoughts, so he is just thinking about what will happen. He hopes that to win, and his fears وخوفه من أنه he is not going to arrive. يعني في خوف, في أمل, في يعني all these things together. After 3,610 miles, so what is that? We'll see. 33 hours and 30 minutes and no sleep. So how many hours he was on the sky or in the sky on his plane? 33 hours and a half. Is it long? And he is alone and he cannot sleep. And he crossed 3,610 miles. And you can count or calculate these things, and there was no sleep. Lindbergh landed in Paris on May the 21st. So after this long trip with the simple things, الأشياء البسيطة اللي أخذها, 5 sandwiches and bottle of water and the compass, no radio, no nothing, and he arrived in Paris on May the 21st. At the moment, his life changed forever. When he landed, he becomes the hero. He becomes a person that's not normal. People, media, everything chasing him. They want to know a lot of things about him. There were 150,000 excited people waiting to greet him. Is it a lot? Yes. For this just normal person who crossed the Atlantic, and there were 150,000 person waiting to greet him, to see this hero. The international media was also there. It's not only the national media of France, but the international media, because it's something important. Photographers and newspaper reporters wanted to be the first to tell the story about Lindbergh. Yes, you know, this is the business of media. They want to have the information, the first to tell others that they first reported this incident. Is it great? Is it important? Yes. Something not done before. يعني ما في أحد عمله قبله. When he got out of his plane and saw all the excitement, he knew that his life would never be the same again. Okay, so when he got out of his plane, he found these people, the media, the reporters, waiting for him, and he knew that he is changed forever. He is a famous person that everyone wants to know something about him, wants to talk to him. When he began his dangerous flight, he was a quiet young man from a quiet town. When he started this trip, he was just normal person from a normal, even a quiet, small place, town. This morning, the morning that he arrived to Paris, Lucky Lindy, this is the name, this is his name, of course, left Paris as an international hero. So he arrived, people were excited to talk to him, and he left Paris as a hero. Okay. So we studied the text, and we know something about Lindbergh, the person who's, I don't know, a hero, a fool. It's up to you to decide whether a person can do it, a normal person can do it, and just the heroes can do it. I want to leave this up to you to think about this. Go to the following page 92. Reading for main ideas. We have, as you see, that we have the easiest thing that we have, reading for the main ideas. Reading just to check whether this information is true. Just you don't have this kind of work hard to do this job. So read the sentences on page 92. Read the sentences, circle the answers that complete the sentences. It's easy. Fill in the space. In 1927, Lindbergh set a record for the what? Non-stop flight. We have the choices, the first, or the longest, or the highest. Which one, according to the reading that we just finished, which one is right? A, B, or C? So the correct answer is B. In 1927, Lindbergh set the record for the longest non-stop flight. Yes. Number 2, he was the first to fly non-stop from, okay, this is, I think, is easy. He was the first to fly non-stop from France to the United States, from the United States to France, New York to San Diego. Which one is right? I think the picture, if we just 2 pages before, the picture shows that he his flight was from the United States to France, from New York to Paris. So B is the right choice. Number 3, the people waiting in Paris were very what? Very excited, quiet, confused. Okay, what is the word that we have in here? The right choice. In fact, I give you a time to think, and you might select the choice before I say it. So A is the right answer. The people waiting in Paris were very excited. Number 4, because of his historic flight, Lindbergh became very what? Handsome, lucky, famous. Which one is the right answer? The right answer, let me read it with the right answer. Because of historic flight, Lindbergh became very famous. So the answer is C, famous. Reading for details. The first choice that we have, reading for main ideas, we have choices, so we put what is the right choice. But reading for details, we need to give information that from our own, but they are written in the box just below. We have answer answer each question on page 93, so the following page, using one of the number from the box. So we have things in the box, we need to put them in the right place. Write your answers in complete sentences. Okay. So we have questions, and we need, we are given the answer, but just the answer, just one word is not enough. We need to put these in sentences. On page 93, how old was Lindbergh when he flew across the Atlantic? He was 25 years old when he flew from the Atlantic. This is the format of answering the questions. On what date did he take off from New York? Okay, what date is the 20th of May? This is the date. But is this enough? No. So what date he took off from New York on the 20th of May? This is the complete sentence. He took off from New York on the 20th of May. Number 3, at what time in the morning did he take off from New York? So now the date, we talk about the date, tarikh. The other thing, number 3, now we talk about the time in the day. Number 3, at what time in the morning did he take off from New York? The story told us that he took off at 7:52 from New York to Paris. AM. AM means in the morning. PM, by the way, is in the evening. So the answer, he took off from New York at 7:20 a.m. Now, the rest of these, I'm just going to give you the answer without putting this in sentences. Number 4, how many people were in Lindbergh's plane when he flew across the Atlantic? How many people? There was nobody with him. So there was only one person in the plane. So the answer is 1. And you need to write this in a full sentence. Number 5, how many miles was Lindbergh's flight? How many miles? Give you the answer, 3,610 miles. Put this in a sentence. Number 6, how can you put this in the sentence? Just check the first example and the 2 sentences that I gave you. Number 6, for how many hours was he in the air? How many hours? 33 hours and 30 minutes, or 33 hours and a half. Number 7, by the way, all the answers are in the box in page 92. Number 7, how many sandwiches did he bring on his trip? How many sandwiches? If you don't know, check the book. If you don't want to check the book, then 5 sandwiches. So number 5. On what date did he land in Paris? The date means the month and the year. So the 21st of May. 21st of May. About how many people greeted him? Greeted him يعني رحبوا فيه. When he arrived in Paris, how many people? Is the last choice we have. 150,000 people. Now, the first and the second questions, one of them that just getting the main ideas, so everything in there, so you don't have that effort to know things. But on C, reading for details, so you need to check in the text for the details. We have number 3, reading between the lines. Reading between the lines is a little bit more advanced kind of reading, where you are asked to guess, to analyze, to show your attitude toward this. And mostly in this kind of reading between the lines, we see people sometimes have different points of view or different opinions. Let's read this. Lundberg did it. And by the way that you see Lundberg did it, we have at the end of this title what? We have we have an exclamation mark. The exclamation mark mostly is written or put to show that there is something something strange, something not normal. So read Lundberg did it again and answer the following questions. As I said that reading between the lines, people are different in their attitude toward this. First, discuss your ideas in a small group. Yes, this is group discussion, and this is how people see this person, whether he is a hero, whether he is adventurous, whether he is crazy, whether he is we don't know. So you need to label this person. Label يعني صنف، حطه في what you think. So discuss the ideas in a small group. If you don't have small group, this is another problem. Discuss this with a person that you share studying with him or with her. Then write at least 2 reasons. 2 reasons. Share your sentences with your group. So, okay, for what? 2 reasons for why did Lundberg fly across the Atlantic? The answer is not written. The answer will be different according to your attitude, your personality, whether how you label this person, how you like him or how you don't like him, how you consider this is, I don't know. It's up to you to analyze the personality of Lundberg. By this, we end this 8th session of the English for the students males and females of the الدعوة section in الدعوة والإعلام college, the second level, the English course, and also for the students of Sharia, male and female, the fourth level. Have a nice day, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
هناك مسائل عديدة جدا. أنه يجوز إعطاء الزكاة لصنف واحد،
لأن رسالة محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام خاتمة.